Significant accumulations of old equipment have been discovered near Sevastopol at the Russian Black Sea Fleet berth, which indicates a deep crisis in which the Russian fleet finds itself deprived of the ability to fully repair and update its resources. The Ukrainian resistance movement Atesh reported a new discovery in occupied Crimea. Dozens of vehicles were recorded at the site, abandoned without guards. Many of them are simply rusting in the open air. What we saw there is shocking. Almost all the equipment is outdated, immobile, and abandoned. Many vehicles have clearly been out of order for a long time and are standing in an open field without proper guards. Atesh says that this picture is evidence of systemic problems in the Russian fleet, a shortage of spare parts, difficulties with repairs and supplies. According to their assessment, the operational mobility and combat capability of the occupiers are at a critically low level. It is noted that the Russian side is trying to maintain at least minimal capabilities, using old equipment as a reserve. But this only confirms the depletion of resources and the weakness of the enemy's military machine. The movement added that they will continue to monitor the facility and identify the real state of the occupying army. Earlier, partisans discovered a command post in Crimea from where the occupiers coordinate attacks on the south of Ukraine. According to Atesh, the headquarters is located on the territory of the former Sevastopol aviation plant, which in Soviet times was engaged in the maintenance and modernization of aviation equipment. Now the enterprise operates as a branch of the Federal State Unitary Enterprise Avia Complex and is fully integrated into the supply and control system of Russian military aviation on the occupied peninsula. The partisans claim that the facility has long ceased to be just a repair base. It has become a strategic center where it is decided which Ukrainian cities will become targets for the next airstrikes. Not only are decisions made here on the timing of flights, but crews are also trained, and after combat missions, helicopters are serviced and restored. According to the partisan movement, officers of the Russian aerospace forces from Zankoy and Rostov-on-Don regularly arrive at the command post. This allows for the coordination of the actions of different units and ensures the constant presence of aviation in the skies over the south of Ukraine. Representatives of Atesh emphasize that the activities of this center directly influence the intensity of attacks on Kherson, Nikolaev, and Zaporizhia. It is here that they control the strikes that are carried out on residential areas and civilian infrastructure facilities, which leads to casualties among the civilian population. All collected data on the staff, equipment, and structure of the headquarters have already been transferred to the Ukrainian Defense Forces. Atesh notes that such information will help to more accurately plan operations to neutralize key elements of the military infrastructure of the occupiers in Crimea.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen reaffirmed the bloc's full support for Lithuania during her visit to the country on Monday, stating the nation was being tested by Russia. According to Associated Press, von der Leyen made the comments during a trip to Medininkai along the border with Belarus as part of her tour of EU nations bordering Belarus and neighboring Russia. Europe fully stands with Lithuania as a frontline state, she said after touring the border in a helicopter alongside Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda. You live under geopolitical and economic pressure, as well as constant military and hybrid threats, she added. On Monday, a plane carrying von der Leyen was hit by radar jamming over Bulgaria in a suspected Russian operation. A spokesperson confirmed the incident on Monday. The plane landed safely at Plovdiv Airport. Von der Leyen will continue her planned tour, which includes visits to arms factories and border installations, according to the Commission spokesperson Ariana Podesta.
and ready to defend freedom. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Europe fully stands with Lithuania as a frontline state. You face Russia in Kaliningrad. You face Belarus on your border. You live under geopolitical and economic pressure, as well as constant military and hybrid threats. The instrumentalization of migrants, for example, is something Lithuania knows all too well. And I heard that last month 2 drones crossed your border with Belarus. All in all, let me reassure you that as Lithuania is being tested, Europe as a whole is being tested, we are with you in all possible ways, and this is also one of the reasons why I'm very glad to be here with you today.
So, ask a question and tell to whom you address it.
During the autumn-winter campaign, Russian occupiers will try, first of all, to resolve the issue of advancing to the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration. This opinion was expressed by the director of the information and consulting company Defense Express, Sergei Zgurets. The Pokrovsk direction remains the most difficult. The goals that the enemy set for the summer campaign, which began there at the end of May, they have not actually been achieved. Because the course to the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration, which was the most important for the enemy and remains the most important, is in fact being achieved extremely slowly. In 2024 and 2025, Russia was able to capture less than 1% of our territory, he said on air at Espresso. According to him, a certain regrouping is currently taking place. We expect the beginning of the autumn-winter campaign, where the enemy will also try to first of all resolve the issue of advancing towards the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration, where the capture of Pokrovsk is extremely necessary for the enemy, the analyst said. Zgurets noted that without capturing Pokrovsk, the Russians will not be able to move further to Dobropolye and in the direction of Kramatorsk. Right now, we can actually split into 2 components as they assess the situation around Pokrovsk. These are military actions somewhat higher up in the Dobropolye zone. The remnants of Russian troops there are in a certain encirclement, but there is an insignificant number of Russian military personnel, and now these military personnel are being supplied by drones. The Russians are trying to provide assistance to these 50 or 100 military personnel who have found themselves in this trap, the expert said. According to him, counter-attacks are being carried out from the Ukrainian side to cut off the Russian group at the very heart of this penetration. He said, at this time the enemy is carrying out attacks, including on Pokrovsk from the south and from the west, where, in fact, they are trying to push through our defense and influence the logistics around Pokrovsk. So, in any case, Pokrovsk will continue to remain the hottest spot, and in my opinion, it will be the main target of the Russian campaign. And here is the end of the summer and the beginning of the autumn-winter one. Zgurets also commented on the situation in the Zaporizhia direction. In his opinion, we need to talk about the zone where the administrative borders of 3 regions coincide: Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia and Donetsk. This is precisely the line that runs along the Volcha River, and it is there that the enemy is really trying to squeeze into the Dnipropetrovsk region. In certain areas, the enemy has succeeded. And when we talk now about such a specific intrigue or the dynamics of current actions, then there are actually 2 settlements there. Malievka belongs to the Donetsk region and Temirovka belongs to the Zaporizhia region, the analyst said. He claims that between these 2 settlements, the Russians are trying to advance towards these settlements and thus capture, in particular, Kamyshevaka, in order to create complications for our military. In any case, this direction is not as active as Pokrovsk on the one hand, but I would put it in second place in terms of the intensity of military actions and the enemy's desire to advance in the Dnipropetrovsk region to create threats from the Zaporizhia direction for the Zaporizhia front and actually to create risks when he tries to advance north, just like Pokrovsk, to the highway that supplies this settlement from the west. He added,